Today we're exploring the Pyrenees wine region in Western Victoria, known for its elegant reds and delicious traditional sparklings. We'll be visiting the Glenlofty vineyard and the Decameron station. But first, I'm off to Blue Pyrenees. I'm Lee, and welcome to the Cellar Door. Today we embark on a wine-filled journey through the Pyrenees wine region, where stunning landscapes meet remarkable wines. Nestled in Western Victoria, this region is renowned for its red wines, notably Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon. These two varieties have earned international acclaim for their exceptional quality, expertly highlighting this region's cool climate character. Our first destination is Blue Pyrenees Estate, a winery steeped in history and dedicated to crafting exceptional wines that authentically represent this unique terroir. Established in 1963, this estate has deep roots in the Pyrenees, thanks to its founders from Remy Martin, renowned for cognac brandy. They harness the diverse slopes, elevations and microclimates in their vineyard to produce a full spectrum of red, white and sparkling wines, all from a single estate. Later in our journey, we'll explore Glenlofty Estate, another illustrious winery in the Pyrenees. Glenlofty has been crafting wine since 1994, and their commitment to producing an impressive range of exceptional wines is truly remarkable. But for now, our focus is on the Blue Pyrenees Estate. It's time to meet our first guest, Simon. As the National Sales Manager of Blue Pyrenees Estate, Simon is a treasure trove of knowledge about this region's winemaking heritage. Together, we'll uncover the secrets of Blue Pyrenees' exceptional terroir. Let's find out more about the history of Blue Pyrenees Estate.
So it goes back mid-1800s, Lee. So there was grapes and wine made here by a chap called McCareth, but the Presbyterian minister shut it down because of the ungodly production of wine.
Oh, so it wasn't the
Phylloxera?
phylloxera. It wasn't the phylloxera that shut you
didn't
down.
come to the Pyrenees.
No.
No,
It was a minister.
And then to 1963, we were started by Remy Martin, the French company.
Wow, yeah.
And to arrive at why they came to Avoca, they overlaid a climatic map to find the coolest climates that could sustain premium grape growing that was also had the right soil profile. So it was either Pemberton in WA or Avoca, and they chose Avoca. That was back in 1963.
So Simon, can we talk a little bit more about the area? We are quite close to the Grampians, but this is the Pyrenees area here, is that correct?
Yeah, so the Grampians are to the west of Melbourne. We're neighbouring the Grampians, so we're northwest. 22 wineries here. It's a very authentic region, very welcoming. You might have to drive up a dirt road and step over a dog, but you'll meet the owner and they'll be very pleased to see you. And the wines speak of where they come from. They're really, the Pyrenees is a great region to grow wine. It's got a cool climate, but you get long flavour development, but with good bracing acidity as well. So we're at about 250 metres above sea level, and our vineyard goes up to about 350. So it's a cool climate.
Yep.
Very cool climate.
Lovely.
Great for sparkling wine, but also good for Cabernet Sauvignon and Shiraz.
What size of a property are we on here? Like how many vines do you have?
150 hectares.
Wow.
So just under 300 acres.
Yeah, great.
Under vine, we've got 450 hectares in total, and surrounded by state forest.
How did the Blue Pyrenees name come about?
Well, originally it was Chateau Remy because of the Remy Martin connection, but during the 80s the French were sort of on the nose. They were blowing up bombs in the Pacific and they were sinking ships in the Auckland harbour, so the French connotation feeling was, let's make it more Australian. So like the Blue Mountains, the Pyrenees shimmer blue in the afternoon sun with all the eucalypts, so that's how the name Blue Pyrenees came about, and that was in the early 80s.
Rightio, beautiful. So you must have we know you've got a magnificent product range here.
Yep.
Do you want to talk us through some of your award-winning wines?
Yeah, sure. So we're lucky here. Most wineries and vineyards do one thing really well, another thing pretty well. We're lucky. We make award-winning sparkling wine, sparkling white, sparkling pink, sparkling red, white, and red wine. So we've won a lot of awards with sparkling wines. We've won a lot of awards with red wines, like globally, but also our white wines as well.
So Simon, this is your rosé that won an award. Do you want to talk me through this and let me know what I'm about to taste?
Sure. So it's 100% Pinot Noir. It's fermented totally dry, so there's no sugar in that. That's why we call it bone dry rosé. But we put it through malolactic fermentation. Gives it a creaminess. So you get lovely strawberries and cream character, hint of Turkish delight, maybe a bit of musk. It's a really beautiful, fresh, zippy, interesting rosé. So let's have a look. What do you think?
Thank you.
Sort of made along the lines of Provençal rosé style.
Okay, which is?
Which is dry and pale. So we're not looking for bright pinkness, looking for pale. But it's all about lovely, fresh nose. Can you see what I mean? Strawberries and cream or Turkish delight.
Turkish delight, now that you've said that.
Yeah. Beautiful drink on Aussie summer day.
Yes, very nice.
What a delicious drop, Simon. A beautiful drink indeed. Now, let me introduce you to a key figure shaping the future of this estate, Roger Richmond Smith, the chairman and owner of Blue Pyrenees Estate. He is a fifth-generation member of the Richmond Smith family. The Richmond Smith family is well known within Australian agriculture going back to 1839. Continuing on his family legacy, Roger's visionary leadership has been integral to the winery's success, focusing on crafting top-quality wines that impress locally as well as on the global stage. Let's find out what Roger's aspirations are for the Pyrenees wine region.
So far, we've managed to put together 3 very different but very interesting vineyards. One in Grampians, south of the Wimmera River, one on the other side of the Pyrenees, which is Glenlofty, and Blue Pyrenees here. And what we're trying to do is to make all of our products globally competitive, not just competitive in Australia. Glenlofty, for instance, is very competitive with the Northern Rhone. What we're trying to do there is not to try and be the same, but trying to maximise the differences between what we can do best and what they do best. And we have a few competitive advantages, I think.
Okay.
The biggest one isn't the vineyards, it's the team.
Yep.
Right? It's the team, it's the winemakers, it's the guys in the vineyard. Secondly, the vineyards themselves, whether they're organic, like Glenlofty,
Yes.
or not yet organic, like the other two. At the end of the day, though, it's pulling together things. It's pulling together place and people and time and money so that the whole offering to customers, because the most special advantage we have, I think, is our customers. Because our customers discover us. Hello, they say to their next door neighbour, guess what I've discovered, you know?
Yeah.
And what's in the glass tells the story.
Yes. What do we have in the glass here today?
Well, this is a Richardson Shiraz, and it keeps on winning prizes all over the place. But the real prize, when you think about it, isn't a gold medal, it's what's in the glass.
Cheers.
And this prize is a damn good drop. Thanks, Roger. Now let's venture down to the vineyards and meet with Shane Howe. Shane has a deep and intimate relationship with the vines at Blue Pyrenees Estate. As the viticulturalist and general manager, he is responsible for overseeing all aspects of grape growing and vineyard management. This includes decisions about soil types, grape varieties, irrigation, and sustainable farming practices. Shane's expertise and care for the vines play a crucial role in the quality of the grapes and ultimately the wines produced at the estate. We're extremely lucky to have Shane today, making use of his many years of expertise as he takes us from vine all the way to bottle, learning the whole process of method traditionnel. Before we get into the process, let's start with the vines.
So what we have here, these are our first vines planted by Remy Martin back in 1963. What we have here is some Pinot, very old, low vigour. These go into our special Cellar release of Pinot Noir for table wine. But we also grow Pinot Noir for sparkling wine, Chardonnay, and all the traditional favourites, Shiraz, Cabernet, Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc. The reason they chose this site is it's quite a unique site. So we're in a natural amphitheatre here, and the soil type they chose specifically, they're looking for alluvial goldfields
Okay.
because they're associated with quaternary soil deposits, which is a very viticulture thing to say. But what it does give us is not over fertility of the vines. The French people were saying when they first planted, they're not growing tomato plants here, they're growing grapevines.
Yeah.
So what we're looking is concentration in every flavour. That doesn't mean alcoholic, it just means lots of flavour.
When it comes to wine, I'm all about more flavour. Stick around as we take a deep dive into the process of Method Traditionnel, the traditional method of making sparkling wine. Stay tuned for some fascinating insights into this age-old winemaking process. Welcome back to the Cellar Australia. We're at Blue Pyrenees Estate with viticulturalist and general manager Shane, who is going to take us through the process of Method Traditionnel. Before we get stuck into the process, we better have a taste to see how it all comes together. It's time to sample the Blue Pyrenees flagship sparkling wine.
What have we got here?
We've got our 2020 Midnight in front of us, which is our best sparkling parcel. So it's a Blanc de Blanc style, and we happen to be tiraging it today as well, so we're quite fortunate in that.
Okay, maybe
So we'll have a look at that later.
Yeah,
if you like.
great.
So this is a full Method Traditionnel sparkling wine of all our own grapes with a bit of Macedon fruit as well. Looking for a real creamy texture, lots of autolysis, which is that sort of yeasty character you get.
Good, I'm glad you explained that for me.
No worries. And a nice long length and fine bead, as you can see. We should have a look.
I think so.
Does that meet your approval?
Oh yes, absolutely. You touched on traditional method there.
That's right.
Can you tell me why it's so important and why it works?
It's all about yeast content. So contact with the yeast in the bottle. It's the way traditional champagne is made, and we've had a long connection. We were originally set up by Remy Martin, so we've got a long lineage back to '63 of looking at making sparkling wine. What we get is that maturity before we release it. We like to have it 2 years on yeast lees, so you really build up a complexity in the wine, but still have that lovely acidity that drives freshness through the wine.
Yeah, lovely.
Well, I can't say if you have enough, it won't give you a headache, obviously.
Understand.
But it makes you want to go for another glass. I always have a problem with just one bottle with my wife.
I think I'll be needing more than one bottle too. That is delicious. Now we know what the finished product tastes like, let's look at the first step of the process.
All right, Shane, what's going on here?
Well, we're tiraging the 2022 Midnight.
Wow.
You're very lucky. So this is when we've just added the yeast to the base wine. We've mixed it up this week. It goes to the bottle. You can see it's got a crown cap on.
Yeah.
Because that'll get disgorged later, and I'll show you all about that later.
Fabulous. How many bottles do we get in one of these?
Each bin takes about 550 of this shaped bottle. Today we're doing about 12,000 litres. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Nice.
I always think we're in the business of giving people pleasure.
And what a pleasure this Midnight Cuvée is. Up next, we're headed down into the cellars where the sparkling wine is aged.
This is where we mature our sparkling wine. So after it's been tiraged, it comes over here, the yeast grow, they produce their carbon dioxide that we like to keep. Yeast die, their bodies basically settle in the bottom of the bottle. I'll show you in a minute actually. And the trick about Method Traditionnel is getting those dead yeast bodies out of the bottle.
Okay.
And this is part of it. So this is taking a bottle from on its side with the yeast bodies on the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah.
And what this does is over a period of about 2.5 to 3.5 days, it basically takes a bottle from being on its side to putting it on point. Very, very gently, not stirring it up. Because what you want to do is have lovely clear wine at the end of it.
The sparkling comes down here and it sits down here for 2 years.
2 years,
At what point in that 2 years does this happen?
It's just prior to disgorging. So maybe a week before disgorging. Unfortunately, we're not disgorging today, but I can show you where we do it.
Great.
And finally, on to the last stage of the process.
This is the final stage for sparkling wine production. So this is our disgorging area. As you can see, we're underground here because the temperature is very important. And we try and use that thermal mass of the earth to keep it nice and cool. Constant temperature for disgorging means we get as much fizz as we can into each glass.
time for a lesson in disgorging.
Okay, Lee, here's one we prepared earlier. So as you can see, all those yeast cells have come down and in quite a compacted little area into the bottom of the bottle. And you can see how nice and clear it is up there. Okay?
Yeah.
So the trick is, how do we get that out?
Yeah.
Without losing all that wine, because it's under pressure.
Yeah.
But what we do is, if you put your fingers in there,
Yeah.
you can feel it.
Ooh.
So that's about minus 25.
Yeah, right.
So what that does, if it's in there for about 5 minutes, it freezes that end. We then put it on our line. The cap gets popped off here. The slug of yeast and ice pops out. Then goes through this point here. So we take a little bit of wine out of it
Yeah.
while trying not to lose any gas.
Yeah.
We put a liqueur in it. So that adjusts the sweetness of the wine. Then we top it up.
Yeah.
Then it gets corked. And about that point there, you could drink it.
Wow. It's amazing.
There's a lot of work in sparkling wine.
Yeah.
If you think about a red wine, sort of a hand touches the bottle maybe twice. Put it on the line, take it off the line.
Yeah.
You've seen how many times we have to manually handle the wine. You wouldn't do there's other ways you can make sparkling wine, but we believe this is the best way to get the best sparkling wine for you to enjoy.
Yeah. I can see why now all the hard work. Thank you so much, Shane, for taking us through that. And
Thanks for visiting.
thanks for having us.
I hope you've enjoyed learning about the art of making traditional sparkling wine with me. Up next, we're heading to Glenlofty Estate. Join me after the break for more exciting wine adventures.
Whilst filming the Cellar Australia in the Pyrenees, our crew chose to stay at the Avoca cottages. Nestled amongst nature in the heart of the Pyrenees wine region, the Avoca cottages offer a quiet, relaxing getaway. Visit one of the many nearby wineries well known for producing quality reds. The cottages overlook a picturesque countryside view of River Red Gums and the local golf course, only 2 hours drive from Melbourne. To book your stay at the Avoca cottages, visit avocacottages.com.au.
Welcome back to the Cellar Australia. We're headed over the beautiful Pyrenees ranges to visit Glenlofty Estate. This vineyard stands at an impressive elevation of approximately 300 metres or 1,000 feet above sea level. Glenlofty Estate's expansive 140 hectares of vineyards are meticulously divided into 30 individual vineyard blocks, each with its distinct charm and character. Here, nature's artistry takes centre stage with 13 blocks dedicated to Shiraz, 5 to Cabernet Sauvignon, 3 each to Merlot and Nebbiolo, 2 to Chardonnay and Viognier, and 1 each to Marsanne and Roussanne. These vines are known for their low yields, producing around 4 to 5 tonnes of grapes per hectare in a fruitful year. The estate's unique location in the foothills translates to cooler ripening conditions than its regional counterparts, along with a touch more rainfall during the growing season. The gentle slopes of the valley provide a diverse range of aspects and soil types, resulting in a splendid variety of fruit characters. We're headed up into the hills overlooking the Glenlofty Valley to meet with viticulturalist and winemaker Scott. Let's find out what makes Glenlofty such a uniquely placed vineyard.
The valley's quite unique where we have subclimates and different regions with like sub-regions within the little microclimates within our vineyard. So we have the valley floor, as you can see down low, which is quite sedimentary, really fertile, and then we have some hills with more granite and quartz. So we have lovely aspects and elevations. So that adds to the complexity of the wines.
How does the lay of the land and the geography help you out here?
Being like with the vicinity to the Pyrenees ranges, you can see there's farmland paddocks and the state park beside us. So there's no real outside influence. So the rain and the runoff is very clean and pure. We irrigate out of these dams, and as you can see, they're beautifully bright. We've got this really natural little system here that is quite unique. So it's quite a pure site, and that does come through in the wines.
Are there any differences between organics and soil over here? Is very different and very important to you as well?
One thing we focus on is soil health, soil biology and vine resilience. So I guess nurturing the soil, understanding soil health, understanding the ecosystem that we're within, try to manage it as a living system.
Sure.
The valley floor is really fertile and quite sedimentary and really lovely topsoil down there. And up here it's a little bit more, there's more quartz and ironstone. It's a bit harder up on the hills. So these actually come out of dormancy earlier, and on the hills we generally pick we pick the hills much earlier than we pick the valley.
So talk to me, what have we got growing here in front of us?
This is some Chardonnay. Yeah, this is 5.8 hectare of Chardonnay.
Is it just Chardonnay here, or?
Well, this block's Chardonnay. We've got some more Chardonnay beside us. So this is Lookout block. We're predominantly Shiraz, so we Chardonnay, Shiraz, Cabernet, we have Merlot, Marsanne, Roussanne and Viognier.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of Marsanne, Roussanne, Viognier planted. There's a bit of a northern Rhone feel and vibe to the climate here and the styles of wines that come out and the varieties planted.
Before we go, Scott's going to take us to one more location just down the road. We're not going far, but we're going to change wine regions. Decameron Station is our last stop this episode. Time for one more cheeky glass of wine.
We are now at Decameron Estate, Scott, and this is the other vineyard that you manage. Can you tell us a little bit about where we are now on this property?
Yeah, so Decameron Station is part of the Grampians. We're just over at Glenlofty, which is in the Pyrenees. So it's only the Wimmera River that separates the two, or is the boundary. We have this lovely old property which we've stopped into the shearing shed briefly. So we're doing some major works over there to get that up to date and potentially sell it all one day, which is pretty exciting. And then here we have this lovely old coach house and stables, and there's an old homestead. So we're in the process of renovating and renewing these properties as well.
So you're looking to have accommodation here as well?
Yeah, accommodation in the future, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, great. And the vineyard here, is it, what varieties are planted here?
So here is only Cabernet and Shiraz.
Are the climates different from Glenlofty to here?
Well, the major difference is the soil types. We're more clay loam over here and a bit more ironstone. So we also get pretty frosty over here. We've just put 3 frost fans in over here. But the fruit that comes off this block is pretty phenomenal. The one we've got here is the 2019 Decameron Station Cabernet. And this just won the 22 Victorian Wine Show. This won the best Cabernet in the show, which was pretty exciting for us.
Very good. So can you describe to me what we're about to taste?
Yeah, I haven't tasted it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cabernet from the Pyrenees and the Grampians, like this, we do Cabernet really well over here. But there's lovely spice, there's lovely pepper, there's really nice, lovely juniper and cassis, some nice stewed berry and some plum and jamminess, and a lovely mouthfeel, lovely tannin.
Nice, alrighty.
It's looking pretty good.
Happy about that?
Yeah, it's looking lovely.
Great. Scott, thank you so much. We've had a great day out here exploring the Pyrenees. We look forward to coming back, seeing what you do with the accommodation, and maybe we can stay for the night.
Yeah, great. Thanks for coming. It'd be great to see you again.
Cheers. Thank you.
We've journeyed through 3 distinct wine estates in the Pyrenees region, and you've had the chance to meet some remarkable individuals in today's episode. From the intricate process of crafting sparkling wine to the exploration of this captivating wine region, it's been an exceptional experience. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Until next time, I'm Lee, and thank you for watching the Cellar Australia. Cheers!